Have you ever thought about just not inviting your insane MAGA parents over for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever else you celebrate? It turns out a lot of people have decided the answer is no, and conservatives can't handle it. In an essay that inspired unintentional laughter all over social media, right-wing commentator Dennis Prager was deeply concerned that so many conservatives are no longer welcome in their kids' homes because of their politics. He said an unprecedented number of Americans with grown children will be alone this Christmas because their own kids don't want them around. Parent after parent calls my radio show, often close to tears, sometimes actually sobbing, pouring their heart out to me about being alone on holidays despite having children and grandchildren. You don't need to read any further to guess why this is happening. If you care about LGBTQ people, civil rights, reproductive rights, public schools, having mature adults in government who want to get things done, or you're someone personally affected by those battles, you know damn well that the Republican Party and conservatives, by and large, oppose all of that. They oppose civil rights. They oppose educating people about the history of achieving civil rights. And they see Congress as a place to air their grievances, not get things done for people who rely on government services.
I intend to speak in support of defunding Obamacare. Most Americans could not give a flying f about a bunch of politicians in Washington. Who cares? On a Saturday or Sunday morning when your dad's making pancakes, it is very cool when he can like flip them and make them do a flip high in the air and catch them.
I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you. Sam, I am.
I really do feel embarrassed by that.
And it's not just elected officials who are the problem, though they are part of the problem. The people who vote for them either share their views or don't care about any of it, or are willing to accept bigotry and stupidity in exchange for other policy positions or right-wing judges, which is hardly any better. If healthcare matters to you, for example, then people who reject vaccines and spread conspiracy theories about COVID, not to mention other diseases, are literally putting lives at risk. If people you know vote for people who spread those lies, they're part of the problem. And all of that is before we get into banning books, denying election results, whitewashing history, rejecting basic science, demanding more guns in more hands in more places, and believing whatever other lies Fox hosts shove into their heads. Here's the bottom line. These are not differences of opinions that can be set aside or debated over an hour-long dinner. These are harmful beliefs that make worse the lives of you and the people you love. Your kids will suffer more because of decisions made by their conservative grandparents. Shared blood and genes don't make up for any of that. If you agree with me on those issues, why would you invite people with what you consider to be dangerous views into your home voluntarily? That's especially true if you have kids. Parents want to protect their children, and that may mean protecting them from their grandparents' cuckoo bananas beliefs. Now, let me say this. I know not everyone can say no to their parents, and I am not picking on you if you can't. But for people who have the choice and take advantage of it, I totally get why they would want to keep peace inside their homes. Again, that just seems obvious to me. Yet Dennis Prager, always ready with a horrible take, offered several other explanations for these riffs. He claimed that progressives were less likely to feel accountable to an absolute moral code, including a God who dispenses that code. On the other hand, he argued, People like him believe in the 10 Commandments and the idea of honoring thy parents. Having a moral code is precisely why liberal adults may not want to see their conservative parents. We're the ones with values. They're the ones whose beliefs inspire and justify cruelty. If the only reason you want to honor thy parents is because an ancient list told you to, it means you wouldn't do it if you didn't have to. Dennis Prager seems to think obligation overrides decency. I have far more respect for people who thought about it and realized they were better off without all that bad energy in their lives, even if it was coming from within their family tree. This is not about political differences. Families are not breaking up because members have different ideas about taxes. This is about values and decency, and the fact that one side revels in hurting others. If your parents are racist or sexist or homophobic or transphobic, you have every right to take a stand and break your ties with them. You don't have to let hate slide just because it's family. Your parents have no legal right to have access to your kids. Dennis Prager refuses to acknowledge that right-wing cruelty is a deal breaker for many people. That is true with friendships, dating, and yes, familial ties. He claims his side would never do this the other way around, which is not true, but why would they? Progressives are fighting for things like stronger unions, universal health care, and a safer environment. Things that help a lot of people who don't have wealth or power. Even if you agree with certain positions, that is a far cry from a GOP platform that promotes conservative Christian bigotry specifically and aims to punish everyone who disagrees by depriving them of their rights. Dennis Prager also blames college for this supposed problem because, well, conservatives like him blame college for just about every cultural grievance they can imagine, to the point where Prager created his own fake university, with big quote fingers there, to spread bad ideas with a veneer of respectability.
First, they say it's okay to punch Nazis. Then they say that every conservative, in fact, everybody they disagree with, is a Nazi. But here's the biggest problem with the left's argument. They're based on feelings, not facts.
He refuses to accept that more in-depth education and exposure to a wider variety of people and the ability to explore new ideas away from the cultural or societal or religious barriers you grew up with might lead some students down a more progressive path. Conservatives thrive on the belief that they're always being persecuted and their values are always under attack, no matter how much institutional power they actually have. Their solution is to reward the historical winners while creating more obstacles for everyone else. That might sound great inside a right-wing silo like PragerU, but it falls flat everywhere else. We know what a Prager-like mentality gets us: failed governance, more people left behind, and larger inequalities. So no, we are not inviting religious bigots or MAGA cultists or red-pilled debate me addicts or non-sarcastic Dennis Prager readers to dinner over the holidays, because we want to spend that time with people we actually love, not people we're traditionally obligated to be around. If old conservatives like Dennis Prager can't handle being alone over Christmas, then they should take a long, hard look at their misguided beliefs and figure out why they're so damn repellent. Not blame everyone else for our refusal to embrace their broken brains. If they want to be loved, they should try being more loving.
If you want love, then the love has gotta come from you.
The good news is that they have plenty of time over the holidays to rethink their life choices, since they apparently have no dinners or parties to attend. So there's no better time to get started.